Welcome to CLIC Connect. I'm your host, Craig Sullivan, and today we've got a very good friend. You may know him as the producer of the California Lodging Investment Conference, but he's also a loan broker here in California, making all types of commercial and hospitality loans. Plus, he's got his own events coming up. But before we bring him in, it's time to thank our production partners, Radisson Hotel Group of the Americas, and our friends over at Chicago Title National Commercial Services Group. Without them, without you, and without our guests, we don't have a show. But I'd really like to thank both Radisson and Chicago for helping us out with these shows. And please give them a call. Let them know that producer Danny and I sent you over there. So if you're looking for a new flag, talk to our friends at Radisson. You want to get your real estate transactions closed on time, call our friends over at Chicago Titles National Commercial Services Group, California. And with that, I want to welcome Mr. Arnie Garfinkel. He is the founder and president of the All-Star Group Events. He's a great friend. We've known each other for, seems like 100 years. We fight like brothers all the time, but we actually love one another. And he's a wonderful, wonderful human being. Arnie, welcome to CLIC Connect. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, Craig? Well, it's over 20 years that we've known each other. That's how long it's been.
So, it has been, yeah.
Glad to be on the show, finally.
Hey, well, actually, it's your triumphant return. You were on once before, so.
Well, not in this way, but that's okay. I'm glad.
Absolutely. So, Arnie, for the one or two people in the commercial real estate world that may not know you, would you tell them about yourself and the All-Star Group Events, please?
Well, I've been in the commercial lending field for over 35 years. I started All-Star Group as the main company and Income Property Lending as my loan brokerage company, where I do all types of commercial real estate. I've got background in lending, underwriting. I was a sales manager for a number of banks. I also consult for a number of banks on commercial real estate, in addition to being the commercial loan department for a number of residential real estate brokerage companies. But what I really did enjoy doing was my events. We started doing the events in 1995. We did one event in LA, and there was a guy over at a title company named Craig Sullivan that wanted to get involved. And we've been friends ever since. And I've been doing these events for, as I said, 25 years. And started out in LA. Then we started doing one up in the Bay Area. And then we added San Diego. And now we added a fourth one where we're doing an online event in June. And as you know, I produce events, and I did the CLIC conference, which I'm sure most of your people know me from. So that's basically it with me.
Exactly. Now, Arnie, you've got an event coming up later this month, the Commercial Real Estate and Lending Conference. Would you tell the audience specifically about your first LA event? And it's going to be live and in person. You got wiped out in 2020 because of COVID, so you've done some virtuals. So, but let's talk about the live in-person event, please. Tell the people about that.
Well, we're really excited. First of all, we brought it to Hollywood. We're at Sheraton Universal, the iconic hotel up there at Universal City. The event is what I call the most interactive commercial real estate event there is. Everything we do involves interaction, the networking, the sessions. We don't believe in doing lectures or panels, even though we do have some panels. It's more to get the attendees and the audience involved. And what we do at this event is to bring to the attendees who are the active commercial real estate lenders and highlight some of the interesting parts of commercial real estate. We do our trademark Loan Makers Forum. And basically the best way to describe the Loan Makers Forum is Shark Tank for lending. We have a panel of 18 lenders. They tell you what kind of loans they do. They range anywhere from private money to insurance company quality lenders. And then we have the audience present loans to them live where they can compete against the loan. It compares apples to apples. We also do something called the Deal Savers, where if you have a tough transaction, doesn't have to be a loan. It could be a tough real estate transaction Could be a tough hospitality transaction, any type of transaction. And we have a panel of experts, title, escrow, attorney, appraisal, environmental, insurance, anything to do with a commercial real estate transaction. They will help guide you through getting it done. We're introducing something new this year, which is called Focus Networking. And I've been to a number of events. You've been to a number of events, Craig. And a lot of times at the exhibit hall, the exhibitors don't get to network with each other until it gets to the cocktail party. So now we're opening it up. We're allowing 45 minutes where everybody can network with each other in the morning without having drinks. Now, we'll have plenty of time for that later in the day, but it's really, we focus on three main aspects in the commercial real estate field: multifamily, investment property, and owner user. And you could pick and choose which one you want to go to and move around the room. So it's very exciting. That's what we call interactive with our events. We also have, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Interrupt. We also have CoStar doing an annual market analysis, and we have an opening session where we have two gentlemen that are going to be talking about the homeless crisis, and they think they have a solution, at least in Los Angeles, and we're excited to hear from them. So that's basically it in a nutshell.
Let's touch on that a little bit. We all know that Los Angeles and San Francisco, San Diego all have, and the Inland Empire, various other regions of California, all have a homeless problem. What's
Correct.
your guy doing in Los Angeles? Give them a bit of a Reader's Digest version of what they're doing here.
Well, Isaac Shomoff and Bill Tamira with Isaac is a developer. Bill is also a developer as well, but Bill is very involved in Orange County with the homeless, and they've teamed up together. Isaac owns what used to be the Sears distribution center in Boyle Heights. It's a very large building, and what he's doing is he was originally going to set it up as a distribution center for like Amazon or any of those places, but he decided, you know what? I'm going to deal with the homeless. And he does a lot of Section 8 housing. He owns and operates so many units in Los Angeles. He decided to give back. And what they're going to do is they're going to be able to house up to 5,900 homeless in this one facility. And it's not going to just be that. They're going to have an area where they'll have medical, they'll have retail, they'll have a lot of things to get these people back on their feet. But I don't want to steal their thunder. I'm going to let them tell you at the event.
Yeah, and that's not just something that they started recently. I mean, he's got a lifelong career in California with doing this in the Los Angeles market in particular. And one of the things that I like about this is he's not waiting for the local politicians. If anything, he's been fed up and said, I'm going to take care of this my own way. And he's been very successful with that. And he does have a giving spirit to give back to a community that's been so good to him and his family. So how about CoStar? Let's talk about them a little bit. They're going to do a commercial real estate market update for you. So are they covering all the food groups, or are they just limiting it to multifamily, office, and light industrial?
I believe they're going to do almost all the food groups. They usually do. They do a broad brush of what's happening in Southern California. They also compare it to Southern California. They break it down by county, and they also compare it statewide and national, how we rank. It should be interesting coming out of the pandemic, what they're seeing happening. They've been doing this for us for many years, and we're real happy to have CoStar part of it.
Oh, yeah, and they did a great job at CLIC 5 just a few weeks ago as well with their hotel practice. So, yeah, I mean, I think everybody knows CoStar. One, they've got the best comps in commercial real estate. Title company comps have always been good, but that deeper dive comp has always been something that I've liked better. That CoStar provides. I've used their services for years. So,
well, the interesting thing with CoStar is that anytime you had an economist out there, they would always quote CoStar numbers. Yeah. So CoStar has their own economic department. So go right to the source and let them give us the numbers from what they're gathering. So anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. So Loan Makers Forum. Okay, let's just put it out there. It's like a live version of Shark Tank. You've got how many lenders? 15, Arnie?
I think it's 18, 17 or 18. We usually
Okay.
have between 15 and 20. But it's very fun. I mean, it really is. I mean, even if you don't have a loan to submit, it's interesting to watch how these lenders evaluate the deal. And I like it apples to apples. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact, our
Yeah.
program book, we try to create apples to apples. So many times you'll get a lender saying, hey, we could do loans from
Yeah.
3% to 5%. And then you present a loan, they go, oh, well, that's a 6.5% loan. They go, wait a minute, what happened to the 3%? So we actually encourage our attendees to bring an active loan, even if you had it done elsewhere. Present it and see what you could have got, or see that the deal you got was the best deal you can get.
Well, yeah, and you know what? I think right now everybody's also going to be looking at refis. We've got some loans coming due.
Sure.
We've had one bump in the interest rate so far, and basically, if you've got a loan coming due sometime this year or next, get on it now. You know what your values are. You're an owner operator. You can get in there and present your property with just a few basic details and see what the banks are willing to do, how they're going to compete against one another. Whether it's a better term, or a few other things. It could be as simple as some savings on your capex expenditures that they're going to hold. And
Exactly.
I think that's someplace where a lot of borrowers aren't really asking questions about. They just kind of accept it. And I think because of this pandemic, I think with hospitality in particular, retail, and restaurant outlets, I think your capex money is going to go up dramatically in the next 2 years, and that's going to be the new norm. It's the safeguards have to be put in place. I mean, obviously, it's not something that you can buy an insurance policy, like for earthquake or flood or something of that nature. So I think it's about the nuances, and you can hear what your lenders are doing. As you
Exactly.
mentioned earlier, they're proactive. They've been making loans through the pandemic. They know their food group, front to back, top to bottom. So yeah, it's a very interactive part of your day.
Without a
And
doubt.
for the people that haven't been there, I think you're going to be blown away with the competition between the lenders. And, one of my favorites, and he's also on my lender panel, is
Peter.
Peter from Fidelity Mortgage Lenders. You and I have both closed deals with them and got it funded in less than 5 business days. So they've got the capability of working. And I love their comparison to their loan package in comparison to your typical regular commercial lender. So it's pretty funny.
Well, the private money field is very competitive. And
Yeah.
one thing
Yeah.
I like about Peter and Chuck, Chuck Hirschon, the dean of private money
Yeah.
lending, is they don't fool around. I mean, it's a handshake. You've never seen a deal close faster than with them. And I'm sure there are others out there that say that, but I know they've proven it. So yeah, they're a good one. They're
Yeah.
the anchor of our lender panel, and you're always very fun to hear.
Yeah, they've been proving that time and time again for decades now. So it's
Yeah.
a great local lender that does every food group throughout California, and I think they're in Vegas and a couple of other states as well. But let's talk about your deal savers now.
Sure.
Um, okay, so obviously you've got title, escrow, an attorney. You've most likely got an appraiser in there, a
Environmental.
lender. What are they doing? Are they breaking down a scenario that they've all talked about, or are they taking situations from the audience, a combination of all of the above? How does this work, and how does this go into an in-depth example of how these services can work together to get your deal closed?
Okay, so here's what we do. The panel includes um, Eric Paulson with Kidder Matthews. He moderates it, and he's a real estate broker, and he's been around forever. Eric is very knowledgeable of the field, and the panelists include environmental, insurance, title, escrow, appraisal, and a CPA. We don't have an attorney on this one. I misspoke, but nonetheless, each of them can handle any type of transaction. They tell you about recent transactions they closed and what went wrong. And then we take live, just like we do at the Loan Makers Forum, transactions from the attendees to see what kind of problems can be overcome. And they work together. I mean, it could be a situation where there's an environmental issue, and how are we going to close this thing in 2 weeks if we've got an environmental issue? Well, the title company, and Ryan Huntsman is on this panel. He could tell you exactly how title would work around that problem. The appraiser can do the appraisal based on carving this out. The lender can do a holdback. Everybody works together to get the transaction done. The insurance agent can give some kind of insurance that will make everybody happy to make sure this thing gets done the right way. So that's where the Deal Savers is. We took risk management and due diligence, and we kind of made it fun instead of them lecturing you on, what is this, what to look for. Because let's face it, due diligence, risk management gets a little boring after a while.
It's very dry. Absolutely.
Exactly.
So, I'm liking this idea that instead of cocktails, it's coffee in the morning and having an opportunity to do this focused networking where, you could spend that entire time with one group, or you can rotate around and hear what everybody's saying. And, so basically dial in who you really want to talk to about, scenario. So I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
All right, Arnie, are you ready? We're
Sure.
going to do our lightning round.
Go for it.
Okay, so producer Danny's going to put 2 minutes on the clock, starting now. Labor.
Pregnant.
Team.
Florida State Seminoles.
Construction loans.
Paul Rahimian.
Cap rates.
Low.
Ground up or conversion?
Conversion.
Favorite airport?
LAX.
Tequila or rum?
Rum for me.
Favorite hotel or resort?
JW Marriott.
Anaheim Resort? The Crown
No,
Jewel?
actually, actually, I like that one too. No, the JW Marriott in Palm Desert. That's where I go every year.
There you go. And you finished that with 1:06 left on the clock, even with my interruption. Very good, Arnie. So let's talk about your first live event since 2019. You got to have butterflies in your stomach going right now. You're just a few weeks away. What's that process like? To let the general public know. I know what it's like because you and I have been talking every day for 2 years since the pandemic started. I mean, I got my event in just before the planet caught on fire and shut down. So tell us about yours. What's going on there?
Well, we did have a couple of, I did do yours just about a month ago. So I kind of got the butterflies out of my stomach with that. We also did a small event down in San Diego last year. But look, this is the big one. This is the one that we've been doing for over 25 years. It's nervous time. You don't know if this new variant is going to shut things down. People are still not quite ready to jump all in. As much as everything's open, we have no clue if all of a sudden next week they decide, hey, you know what, things are getting bad. So there's that uncertainty. But with every event, the butterflies are there. I'm going to go forward with this. We expect to have the same type of crowd, if not more. But if we have less, we have less. I put on the same type of event, whether I have 100 people or 1,000 people. It's still going to be the same quality. And, the fact that we have some food and beverage minimums that we have to hit, if we have less people, everybody eats better. That's all. So we're going to make sure everybody's happy. We're going to give them a really good quality event. And with my events being interactive, sometimes having too many people is not a good idea either.
Right.
So, the real sweet spot is 200 to 300 people is exactly where we want. We don't want 500 to 1,000 people. We're not going to be able to get into understanding the quality of the loans and having that interaction. So it's a one-day event, goes from 8 in the morning till 5 o'clock. The happy hour starts at 3:30. We feed you very, very well throughout the day. And it's definitely an enjoyable, very fun day that I try to make it fun. At least,
it is a fun day. It's a great event, now, you are going to offer COVID-19 tests, which we did at my conference as well.
Exactly.
So, now my feeling is you are going to require to see their vaccination card or negative test results 24 to 48 hours before the conference.
I don't know. I got to be honest with you. I spoke to the hotel, and as of right now, there's no restrictions. So
the hotel's not going to put any restrictions on you.
I know that.
Burden of proof on you.
Well,
you know that.
Look, the disclaimer is people should be ready to either show their vaccination card or have a negative test.
Right.
If not, we will have COVID testing available at the event. So
on a limited basis. Let's get that out.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're not going to have for everybody, but most people, in all honesty, most people I've seen already been vaccinated. So if they show their vaccination card, that's fine. But right now, it's a very thin line because I know when we did an event I did back in August of last year, I said you might have to have a test, and literally split down the middle. Half the people said, "Well, I'm glad you're making sure everybody is free, because I wouldn't come otherwise." And then the other half would say, "Well, the fact that you're testing everybody or making sure they're free, I don't want to go until there's no restrictions." So it was like, I don't know what to do. There's no right answer. So we're gonna abide by what the local laws are telling us, what the CDC is telling us, and what makes our attendees feel comfortable.
Hey, you got to go with safety first. That's all I can tell you. I mean, that I insisted on it. I mean, we went through 3 different companies. It was a moving target with them, and then we ended up with one that I felt comfortable with, and they were willing to work with you and your conference as well. So it was a bonus for both of us. So.
Yeah. So we
Arnie, we're out of time. How can people get a hold of you?
Well, you can contact me. My phone number is 818-532-7660. Email address is Arnie, ARNIE, @allstargroup.com, or go to the website, www.crelc.com. CRELC is Commercial Real Estate Lending Conference, or even allstargroup.com. You'll get a hold of me. So many ways.
And don't you have a special discount code for my viewers?
Just type in CLIC, CLIC, and you'll get a 20% discount.
Perfect. Arnie, thank you for joining us today. It's always a pleasure. You're welcome back anytime. Matter of fact,
thank you.
Post-conference wrap-up. So
thank you, Craig. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And thank you, our audience, for joining us today. Also, I'd like to thank our production partners, Radisson Hotels of the Americas and Chicago Title National Commercial Services Group of California. Give them a call. Let them know that producer Danny and I sent you over there. You're looking for a new flag for your hotel. Hey, if it matters to you about getting your real estate transactions closed on time, call our friends over at Chicago Title National Commercial Services Group. Both groups would love to hear from you. And please remember to follow us, subscribe to our networks, check out all of our social media sites. Smash that bell 2022 style, and you'll know when all the new episodes drop. And if you want to be a production partner or if you want to be a guest on the show, DM producer Danny or myself. We'd love to talk to you. And with that, remember, be kind, share your knowledge. Now go be amazing.